Welcome to the GCN Tech Show.
This week, we've got a new Canyon, new wheels, a lawsuit, a chance to win Pogačars shoes, and our main talking point, just how powerful are the world's best riders? How fast can they go for 4 minutes? So on to our main talking point first. How powerful are the world's best riders? How much power can they hold for 4 minutes? Now, what got us thinking about this was the incredible UCI Mega World Championships in Glasgow last week, which have just been great to watch all over GCN+.
Yeah, there's been just so much going on. Yeah. My favourite maybe has been artistic cycling.
Really?
That's been pretty cool.
I thought that would be your favourite.
Although cyclable, that looks insane. I need to try that. I think that's actually up my street.
I think, if you want to see Connor have a go at cyclable,
get in the comments.
Yeah,
we'll make it happen.
I think you'd be great at it because I think you'd just fill the goal. I think you'd be a natural.
Finally, I found something that I'm good for.
Mountain biking us too.
Yeah, that was quality.
With Pidders.
Yeah.
Oh, and Fran Prevost as well. I was just loving the mountain bike. It's not something I normally watch, but yeah, I was loving it, getting well into it. But I think my absolute favourite thing though, the individual pursuit men's final.
Oh, what a duel.
Yeah. Now, if you haven't seen this, it's one of the best individual pursuit finals I think there's ever been. You should be able to find it online and watch it if you haven't, because I highly recommend checking it out. But spoiler alert, it was between Filippo Ganna and Dan Bigham, and Bigham lost by a fraction of a second. A time difference so small that it actually equates to like less than half a watt.
Which is insane. That's insane. But one of our favourite things about the individual pursuit is the speeds they do. 60 kilometres an hour average.
Yeah, just short of that. It's like 59.5.
From a standing start too.
For 4 minutes.
That's mad.
It's nuts, isn't it? Well, what's especially nuts about them doing this race in 4 minutes is that right now, and this shows you the progression of tech and how much faster riders have got, they're going, as fast, or in some cases faster, than team pursuit teams over the same distance from 10, 15 years ago.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. So just one rider on their own. Nuts. But we are able to tell you with very high accuracy what power the likes of Bigham and Ganna produced in that individual pursuit final, thanks to the work done by a mathematician called Professor Michael Slavinsky from the Memorial University of Newfoundland. I think it was Newfoundland.
Newfoundland?
In Canada.
Yeah, and this is great because it allows us to compare ourselves to those efforts, either outside or maybe on the indoor trainer, to see how we stack up, which is quite an interesting kind of comparison to make and see how you stack up relatively to the top pros.
Yeah.
But we don't actually know the power values. Now, this is thanks to people like Michael who take all the known values and then input that into their equations.
Yeah, and the sort of level of intricacy of his mathematical model to come up with these values, we'll go into a bit more detail of some of the things that are included in it, but it results in something that's incredibly accurate. It's really impressive and very nerdy. But before we get on to the power that Ganna and Bigham produced, just to give some context, I actually messaged the Feather and said, what's your best 4 minute power ever? He said it was a couple of years ago, and it was on a hill climb in Somerset, and he did 547 watts.
Did he? That's outrageous.
That is outrageous, isn't it? It is nuts.
For his weight.
So his power to weight is better than Filippo Ganna's, right? But the other key thing, and this is really important when you're trying to compare, what you do, say, on the trainer or out on the road with your power meter, is that it's a whole different kettle of fish. When you're Andrew Feather and you're out the saddle, able to adopt a position on the bike up a hill where you can get out the saddle and just get it all out is a lot easier than when you're just trying to be scrunched up and making yourself as small as possible.
Yeah, because I'm sure the likes of Ganna, they probably could do more watts actually, but they're just finding that balance. I think that's the art, finding the balance.
Yeah, wouldn't that be interesting to know what if you put Ganna on a 4 minute hill climb, what he could do? I suspect it would be considerably higher than what he's doing.
I think it would, but at the same time, he's probably got so used to riding that position that it's almost like he's adapted to that. That's his go-to. So and the same with Feather, it's just the opposite way. He preferred being out of the saddle.
Yeah.
Anyway, most importantly, what power is Ganna doing? This is what I want to know here.
Right, Michael has calculated it
Yeah.
with one, like plus or minus like 1% accuracy,
Okay.
he reckons, and he's had it ratified, to be 606 watts.
That is mad.
That is nuts.
That is crazy.
I mean, I reckon I could do that for about 30 seconds and then I would be dead.
You couldn't beat him on an e-bike.
No,
That's just outrageous.
What do you reckon you could do for 30 seconds?
I think 30 seconds. I'd be lucky to do that these days. I'd be lucky.
You'd do it for a minute? I reckon you got a minute. You're a big guy.
I think I could do it for a minute, but I'd be punching to do that.
It's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd be giving myself a hernia.
Well, Bigham's power though, right? This is where it gets super interesting for me because he's calculated Bigham's power to be 522.4 watts.
A bit less.
It's about 80 watts less.
That's a lot.
Which means Bigham is 80 watts more aero. And they've basically gone the same speed. And
That's mad. But I mean, temper that with the fact that Dan, he is 7 centimetres shorter, and we're guessing from our estimates about 5 kilos lighter too.
yeah.
So he's going to be able to get in a much kind of smaller position,
Yeah.
but still 80 watts.
And this is basically why you were never Olympic champion on the track.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
that's just that reason.
you've got
really.
the watts, but
yeah.
yeah.
Would have been there.
You're like a combine harvester.
Right. There's probably other factors at play too, Ollie. Another interesting fact, Dan didn't use a power meter to save on weight and aerodynamics.
Yeah,
He's gone naked.
Yeah, Ganna had Favero Assiema pedals on, but he made that sort of saving there. I mean, the gains are massive, and although Ganna is bigger, Dan's position is look how tight his head is between his shoulders. It's impressive, but in a different way. So this mathematical model is nuts, and there's some really interesting things in it. So one of the things that's included is changes in rolling resistance through the deformation of the tyre around the track, which is nuts. So what you get is the tyre is like sort of right when it goes around the corners because of the centrifugal force. So you like the tyre is perpendicular to the track.
Yeah.
But then when you're in the straights are like slightly banked, right? Slightly. And the tyre is sat upright, so it's sort of like that. So the tyre is deforming
Slightly different concept.
in a different way. Yeah, which makes you think in the future, tyre manufacturers could learn from that and actually make a pursuit-specific tyre
Yeah.
that's like one-sided because you're always on that ride the same way round a velodrome, that it's reinforced in a way to take into account that angled load on the tyre. There you go, Pirelli. You can have that one for free. Something else that's mad is he's mathematically worked out a weight cost of riding around the track, which is applicable to pursuiting, but also like the hour record as well. So people always say that the hour record is really hard, like anecdotally, like harder than riding on the road, and people don't know why. And one of the things that will contribute to that is something he's worked out, which is there's like a pendulum effect. So when you're riding, if you imagine the desk is the track, when you're riding on the straight, you're upright.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when you go into the corners, you bank. The rider physically banks down.
Yeah.
Because you need to, so like a centrifuge to get around the track, right? And then as you come back into the straight after the turn, the rider rotates up straight again and then banks down into the next turn, banks out. And if you imagine that your head and your mass is weight up here, you're having to expend energy to lift that mass out of every turn.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're not just, if you're riding on the road, you could just sort of keep fairly upright.
Okay.
Whereas like you're constantly lifting that mass out of every turn as the bike rotates like that, right? Now, he calculated that that's like, for Filippo Ganna, when he does the hour record, that's equivalent to climbing 200 meters in an hour record. Yeah.
So the hour isn't flat.
No, the hour is not flat.
That's mad.
Yeah, but it's still an effect that is taken into consideration when calculating in the pursuit. But I thought that was like, I mean, it's so nerdy, but I think it's really interesting.
No, it is interesting. It's cool.
Yeah, because people just think, oh, velodrome's flat. It's not.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's why I always feel a bit slow on a velodrome.
Me too.
I'm like a giraffe going around.
The interesting thing is what you learn from that is you can postulate, and I spoke to Michael, and this is what he said. If you had a perfectly round velodrome with no straights, it would be way faster, because you would just ride like that the whole way around, like a wall of, when they do the thing of death with the motorbikes.
Wall of doom, yeah.
Yeah. It'd just be like that. You just ride like that the whole way around, and you'd never have that swinging of the rider's centre of mass changing.
It's only the most circular velodrome possible.
So if you make a super circular velodrome, you break the hour record.
There you go. Well, let's get me suited and booted.
Yeah, let's go build a velodrome.
Bit better than the one I built the last time.
Oh, yeah. Well, let us know how you can do and what you think of this, and let us know in the comments your best 4-minute efforts.
I'm going to keep quiet on mine because I'm going to look like...
Oh, yours will be well high.
Yeah, but that's because I'm carrying quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but don't...
And my bar bag.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard. You need watts to carry that.
Time now for hot tech, and first up, something big.
Yeah, we've
Something big and
got the
exciting.
new Canyon Endurace. I've been lucky enough to get my hands on it, so I'm going to go into a bit of a first look video coming out on the channel soon. But headline facts, pretty cool. So first time we've got a CFR version. It's even more aerodynamic than previous models. 7-watt claimed saving, thanks to partnership with Swiss side. Plus that's thanks to kind of integrated cabling, integrated handlebar cockpit, similar to that you see on the Air Road and the Ultimate, kind of more race-orientated bike. The Endurance is that sort of more sporty geometry, so it's a bit more relaxed, a bit more comfortable. And saying that, it's got clearance of 35mm tyres too. So it's a bit more, you can go on a bit lighter gravel with that.
Yeah.
Also, I quite like the integrated storage in the top tube.
Yeah.
Super cool. So I'm going to probably get even more stick for my bar bag now though.
I have spotted it over in the workshop, getting ready for your first look video, and I thought it looked super smart.
Yeah.
It's cool to see, because we did actually, this is probably about a month ago now, we spoke about on the tech show that there is a sort of a need, when you speak to bike fitters especially, for bikes that are like more aero and still fast and like sporty, but are like this more endurance geometry, because most of us aren't the sort of super low aeroed sort of geometry. It's great for Mathieu van der Poel, but for most amateur riders, it's kind of not the optimum.
Definitely, and I'm going to go into a bit more depth on why that's the case in a video coming out soon.
Right.
And I might be handing in one of my favourite bikes.
Really?
To swap it for the Endurace.
No.
So stay tuned for that one. I'll go in a bit more depth then.
I look forward to that one. We've also got some legal news.
Yeah, it's all kicking off in the track world as we get towards the Olympics, and people are getting nervous. There's a bit of posturing going on, I feel.
Yeah, so there's been, in the lead up to the Olympics this year, it's that you always have like a tech arms race. All of the federations are basically piling in all of their latest tech and trying to keep things secret and stuff for the Paris Olympics. However, this year it's a bit different, because they've had to use it well ahead of time. They're not allowed to break stuff out of cover at the last minute anymore. And well, there's a few countries that have come out with bikes that are quite similar to the Hope Lotus.
Yeah, and I think we need to be careful, because we think we can't, I'm not sure on all this legal stuff, so I think we should say we think it might be quite similar. That's what I hear people saying on the news.
Yes.
We're not saying it is similar, it might be similar.
But British Cycling are saying that it's similar, right?
So the Japanese and French bikes, we're talking about the Lotus, not the Lotus, the Look bike, sorry, and the VIZU TCM.
Yeah.
Japanese bike. I think I said that right.
And what this basically boils down to is that they've followed a similar design, whereby you have the super wide stays on the bike, rather than going super narrow on the stays like we've seen on other bikes, like the Argon track bikes is a great example.
Yeah, you got to say it does look similar. What will come of this remains to be seen. But as you said, at this time, if something does come of it and it's potentially shown that they've broken the patent, it's going to put those nations in a tricky situation coming towards the Olympics next year.
Basically, British Cycling are trying to stop Japan and France from using their new track bikes.
More on this in the future, I feel. But posturing is going on.
Well, I mean, if the individual pursuit is anything to go by, the Pinarello track bike is the one that they should all be fighting over.
Yeah, that's true.
Quick fire reminder that we've got a competition running at the moment. It's completely free to enter, so why wouldn't you? And it's a chance to win what I think are the nicest, coolest cycling shoes at the moment. But they're the Pogačar Special Edition DMT KRSLs lace-up shoes with custom Pogačar graphics on, like a white sole. It looks so nice. We'll post a link down below so that you can do that. I've actually got a set, not the Pogačar Special Edition ones, but just the standard lace-up one. I love it, and wind tunnel tested, faster than a Boadal shoe.
There we go.
Marginal gains, but when you lose the individual pursuit by less than half a watt. There you go. Back to the world champs, because we've got a bit more world champs tech. New Pinarello mountain bike was spotted.
Yeah, don't worry, we're not turning to GMBM, but this was spotted with Pidcock aboard and Pauline Furrow.
Yes, this is a new hardtail Pinarello mountain bike. It's the Dogma XCHT. I guess that stands for cross country hardtail. I'm not an expert.
Good deduction there, Ollie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm absolutely not an expert in mountain bikes, but to me that looks really cool, and it probably is pretty good as well, because, well, Pauline Ferrand-Prévot won gold on it in the short track and Pidcock got bronze.
Yeah, and there's some pretty cool settings in there. So you can have 8 different settings on the front forks.
Yeah,
some suspension damping.
Suntour, SR Suntour forks, same as what you has used before. Pidcock likes those.
Not in production yet, but I presume soon.
Yeah, it's that fork as well is electronically damped. That's not something we've seen on any road or gravel bikes or anything, but it's sort of a newer thing on mountain bikes. And I also noticed the cockpit on it, because it's got a mossed cockpit like on the road bikes, Pinarello road bikes, but it's all like integrated bar and stem and looks aero and sleek, but like mountain bike. Perfect. Like I say, not an expert on mountain bikes, but yeah, I think it looks cool.
I'd pop a wheelie on it.
Would you? I can't do wheelies.
I can't do them either.
Oh, and finally in Hot Tech this week, we've got some wheels to show you. So these are the latest and greatest wheels from Reynolds, right? And last week I was away because I was doing the Tour de Station Ultimate 1000, which has completely destroyed me.
You're doing pretty well despite it, to be fair, mate.
Oh, thanks, man. I mean, it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life by an absolute mile. There's actually a video coming out on it this weekend.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see this video. I just want to know how you got through this. But anyway.
I'm not sure. Well, one of the things that did help me get through it was we had some amazing sponsors on board to help make the video possible. One of them was Reynolds, who supplied the wheels, and these are their latest black label 46 Pro wheels. This is actually the 60 Pro, so the 46 mil deep. This is the slightly deeper one. The 46 ones I used because they're a bit lighter. They're just 1397 grams a pair. These are about 120 grams heavier than that, 60 mil deep. But there's a full tech video about the bike and the setup I used. You can check it out. But I just really wanted to show you these hubs because these are like Industry 9 hubs, 3 ratchet design with 6 degrees of engagement. And it's all like CNC machined. Like, I mean, it looks great, but like...
Oh, there we go.
That's good, isn't it? But then listen to this. Ooh, had about 72 hours of that. Listen to that anyway.
Does that bring it back?
I'm getting like PTSD. Yeah, if you, super nice wheels. But if you want to check out the vid of me doing this ridiculous ride and see how I got on, make sure you subscribe if you haven't. It's out this Sunday. Right, first comment this week is from Alien Sporebomb under the Twisted Wheels gravel bike video, which was such a cool bike. Thanks so much for Oleg from Twisted Wheels for showing us his bike. And the comment says, Twisted Wheels always seems to take what exists and shows what can be possible. Impressive, love the blue overall. And for those that like a do-it-all kind of dual-duty gravel and road bike, this could be the ultimate gravel does road design.
Definitely.
It was a proper cool bike.
Bling looking bike.
Yeah, there were a few comments underneath that video that I think we should address that were just people who sort of weren't happy that the fact that the frame on that particular gravel build was a Russian frame. But the thing to remember is that, well, I think that the makers of that particular bike frame, although they are Russian, they're definitely not supporters of the crimes and things that's going on. Yeah, like
and there were aspects on that bike which took a stand against that too.
There were, but we couldn't show them because, well, we didn't want to show them because they were actually very naughty words in Russian, but also I was a bit concerned about, because of the way the regime is in that country, if there could be things done against the people that made that frame who are showing negative thing towards the regime, unfortunately. But yeah, there you go.
Moving on to your camper van video, which I loved because I am a bit of a camper van nerd. I was very jealous of the fact that you got to cruise around this in the Alps, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But this was sent in by Paul Worth 70, saying I'm sitting on a wet and windy campsite in Devon as I watch this, questioning my life choices.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? That's the thing. When we were sort of going, through doing the Tour de Station with this van as like a support vehicle and stuff, you see all these little like campsites where all the camper vans and tents and stuff are rammed in like sardines. And you just think, why are you camping there when you can just go camp at like the top of the Stelvio or something for free, and you've got it all to yourself, and you've got sunrise, sunset. It's bloody amazing. That's the way to do it. Anyway,
Andrew McAllister 3462 said the crew are going to have an awesome time in the van. Ollie is going to, however, be exhausted from Tour de Stations, and he's just going to collapse off his bike, go to sleep on the ground. At 110k, I would like to have an air compressor built into the bike garage. But otherwise, this is pretty sweet adventure van. That's a good point.
An air compressor would be sick.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, because there is like a shower thing at the back of that van to wash your bikes down, but an air compressor to then...
Yeah, I'm sure you could add it on if you wanted. But
next comment is from Bash Barnard, and this is under last week's show, where you were discussing about should like the tech be equal for like the World Championships, the Olympics and stuff. And he said in Japan they have fixed gear track cycling with only very specific bikes and components, which evens the playing field. I think it's great. Yes, they do. Japanese Keirin racing. Yeah. We've actually got a really great video all about that John Cannings did a few years ago on the channel. So make sure you check that out. But it's it is really cool.
Hotly contested sport as well.
Yeah. Really cool.
Bike and Dog Trips wrote this one in, question for you to ponder. Imagine a parallel universe with Dan Bigham and Chris Boardman at the peak of their careers, both in fitness and knowledge, both existing in the same time period, and they compete against each other in the 4K pursuit. Who would you expect to win? Or... Yeah. That's a tough one.
It's a close one. Well, the next comment as well from Stuart Misfelt 3068 says, they're also talking about that, the body and especially the head position of Bingham. This grinds my gears when I see this. A lot of people call him... Adam Blythe calls him Bingham all the time in commentary. Bigham. Says his position was far more aero than Ganna's, but the power that Ganna puts out was far superior. I wonder what the watts per kilo are in comparison. Well, now you can work it out from our talking point. But
they're pretty superior.
Yeah.
And I think that's my problem in my head. It's like a dorsal fin.
But the thing is in terms of when you're talking about physical ability to win a race or to break a record, it's wrong to just focus on the power aspect, I think, because that's just one facet of it.
Oh, exactly.
Because you think like, if you look at, I watched a really good documentary on freediving on Netflix, right? Where this Italian lady who's like amazing at freediving, but you look at like her shape of her body, that's like that'll be key to her being a good freediver, because she's shaped like a pencil, so she just goes down and up. Whereas like if she was more curvy and had bigger shoulders, it would be like she'd be less hydrodynamic. So
it's like me. I've got to keep a good eye on where the cafes are going to be on the ride.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
but you're physically amazing as well, Connor, because you are the best domestique that nature could possibly design. Sit behind you, it's great.
Yeah, I'm still counting on a few of those beers owed to me, to be honest, over the years.
But Boardman versus Bigham.
Oh, I don't know.
Close one. That'd be good. Maybe we can see that in the future with some kind of like AI.
I think Boardman would edge it.
You reckon?
I think so.
I'm going to go Boardman as well.
Yeah. He was a proper freak.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on to the bike vault.
Yes. Favourite part of the show. Here's the bell. You submit pictures of your bikes in the Bike Vault on the GCN app, and then everyone can vote on them if they're nice or super nice, but let's be honest, only our vote really counts.
Yeah, we're judge, jury, and executioner.
What was the most super nice bike in the Bike Vault last week, Connor?
So it was this Specialized Tarmac SL7 Pro.
That's really smart, isn't it?
It was sent in by Michel Gagnon. I must say, it's not in the Biggie Smalls.
No, Biggie Big looks wrong,
yeah,
doesn't
it just jumped at me straight away.
Right,
so
nice.
Just a nice.
Nice.
Remember, everyone, keep your values.
Yeah.
Don't let them slip.
Right, next up, we have got this very nice look. Who's it by? It's by Jack Lonerman, and it's a Look 586 Origin. Look at that.
First proper road bike as well. Nice. Good work, Jack.
It's got an integrated seat pin, that bike.
I had that bike with an integrated seat post once. I really loved it. I don't know why that trend died out a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, on an old Ridley Noah I was lucky enough to ride.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Felt very stiff through the seat post.
Saves weight as well, but difficult to sell on. Not in Biggie Smalls again, I think, and it's propped up at a bit of a weird angle against the wall.
It is.
It's not square on. I think that's a nice as well.
Just a nice.
Could be a super nice.
Sorry, Jack. It was so close.
Who's next?
So close, so close. Next up is WM Logie, my titanium gravel race bike.
It's a Linsky.
Yeah, Linsky. GR Pro.
It's like it's inside of taking a photo of it inside of some kind of like alien spaceship.
Yeah, that is really nice.
The setting kind of suits the bike, doesn't it?
Cranks are a little bit off, not at 3 p.m.
It's sort of enough in line with the chainstay for me to give that a pass.
Okay, we're passing that.
We're in a weird gear though, but sometimes that's
gear.
okay on a 1x because otherwise the rear derailleur would be at a funny angle.
Go
so
on then.
Let that pass.
I think we've got a super nice.
All right, super nice that one.
Super nice. There we go. Put it in there.
Pedal damn it. Next with a Soma Wolverine from 2015. What do you make of this?
Oh, I like this. This is cool.
Oh, it's cool, isn't it? Belt drive.
Yeah.
Belt drive. That is a really nice bike. Super nice. I
Super
love
nice,
the little gold details, like on the headset and on the seat post clamp as well.
That is a beauty.
And then little gold cable covers and the gold bits on the.
I want to know more.
Bar tape.
I want to know a bit of a backstory about it. Where's it been? What epics has it done?
That's really cool, isn't it? Oh, I'm into that. That's really nice.
I've got this urge to do a gravel race on a single speed. I don't know.
Have you?
Yeah, I'd like to try it.
You're a lunatic. Ring the bell.
There we go.
Author next, Null. Maybe that was an error. But they've got a giant MR4R SE from 2010. I've never seen one of these before.
I'm going to admit, I haven't either. That is
what is going on there?
Crazy bike.
That is nuts.
Suspension, smaller wheels. It's
like a folding mountain bike thing. It's crazy.
Is it a folding bike? It's not a folding bike.
But then it
is a folding bike.
It looks like there is some kind of like extender on the head tube. That can't be as it comes.
It is a fold. It folds in some degree, I think.
Well, it's so wacky and weird. I'm going super nice.
Yeah.
Because it's well presented and it's wacky and weird, and I kind of love it.
And the chrome is just popping in
the
sun.
It is, yeah.
So go on then. We'll put that in there. Nice one. Nice work. Next up from Marky Bren 1. This is a Rally Ravigno C4 Banana. 2018. Kind of got those retro colours going on.
Yeah.
Not in the Biggie Smalls, I don't believe. Valves aren't aligned either. No. So we're missing out on a few of the basics.
Jaunty angle, and definitely need to jet wash that patio and a bit more Ronseal on the fence.
Beautiful. If I
needs to weed.
There, though.
He needs to weed.
That is
well.
like that. You got to let the weeds grow. That's the birds and the bees. So it's a classic road bike, that though too.
It is good, yeah.
It's a what you need. I think.
It's a nice. It's just not presented well. It's a nice from me.
Okay, nearly. It was nearly there.
Unfortunately, that's all we've got time for this week.
There we go.
That's it. It's the end of the Bike Vault. Whew, well, thanks for stepping in because
always a pleasure. Alex is out filming with Hank.
Clarence
Clarence, sorry, is up filming with Hank. Looking at tyres and width and how that impacts cornering, I believe.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for that one.
But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the show. And well, we'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.